Morpheus, AP, and David Wood. What's your take on supersessionism? Seems like many nominal Christians use it to justify anti-Semitism. How should one respond to these views? I want to say very few words about this, but David, do you have anything to say about this first?
Yeah, I don't know how you would use that to justify anti-Semitism. You could have some replacement view. That's what that is. What would happen? You'd still be dealing with a bunch of people who are created in the image of God and have human rights. So that's the thing. And I've only explained like a million times. I'm not even thinking of the issue with Israel in terms of, prophecy fulfillment and who has a divine right to land and stuff. I'm thinking in terms of like human rights and which local group is most likely to support and defend the basic human rights of the people in the area. And it ain't Hamas, let me tell you that.
It ain't Hamas. And it ain't Iran. It ain't the Islamic Republic of Iran. So very few words on this. Supersessionism or not, honestly, doesn't really matter to me. But many people who use this kind of stuff, who use theology and who use things like, oh, Christians are the new Israel and all that, in order to hate on Jews, are just are not even doing it properly. I mean, even if you follow a supersessionist theology, that should not lead you to having anything against Jews. It is just people who want to hate on Jews use their theology as excuse in order to hate on Jews. You can completely believe in a theology where Jews have no modern relevance at all, and where theologically seen Christians are the new Israel and all that, while being also completely loving and supportive of Jews. So one does not lead to the other at all, but they use this as an excuse.
Yeah, and in other words, you could say that Israel has been replaced by the church. You, as a Christian, are still commanded to love your neighbor, to love everyone, including even your enemies, and to seek the good of all people. And so how would you say, oh, the church has replaced Israel, therefore we should all hate them? Where are you getting that from? Like chapter and verse?
Yeah. I mean, I would say lots of the Jews, lots of religious Jews who are in this, whom I love and that I'm friends with, would, for example, consider my religious beliefs mistaken and wrong. Right? I would consider their religious beliefs at this stage mistaken and wrong. In my opinion, there is one Messiah that came, and we know who that is. It is Jesus, and that would mean that also this entails, as the Bible, as far as the Bible is concerned, as far as the New Testament is concerned, that things are changed, that the family of Israel is changed, and no longer. So I wouldn't share the whole the views that all of this is connected to end time prophecies, that Israel has some great role in the end time prophecies and all that. None of this has anything to do with theology. I still have lots of love and lots of respect for Jews. I still love them. I have some special love for them. And I also see that the Bible has special love for them. And looking at the Middle East, the one group that I will happily support over the others are the Jews. We have been there. I have interacted with Jews for many years now, interacted with Israel for many years now, with Israelis for many years now, and they are awesome, and they're doing a fantastic job. It is the country where Christians are flourishing in the Middle East. Not even the country that was previously Christian, Lebanon. Not even there are Christians as flourishing as they are in Israel. So Israel is the only place where Christians are treated well, where human rights exists, and so on. On the other hand, we have their enemies, their opponents, who are the Islamists, who are the Islamic terrorists, who are all about wanting to eradicate the Jews, and wanting to also not just eradicate the Jews, but also to attack all the others, including the Christians in the region. Israel protects Christians. Why in the world would I stand with the other side? I would rather stand with the Jews, who are actually civilized people and who also give goodness and who deserve goodness. I would say everyone deserves goodness, but unfortunately, the others are not very receptive of it. So that's that. I pray for everyone involved. Dave Long, how are we being hostage by crazy Muslims that control Iran, and why are we putting up with it? Thank you, Dr. Wood. We'll get to that in a second as well, but go ahead.
Yeah, that is the question. Why do you put up with this nonsense? You got well, death to Jews, death to Israel, death to the United States of America. And then it's not like they don't act on it. They support and fund terrorist organizations all over the place to launch attacks. They do this they horribly oppress their own people for things like not wearing hijabs, and they'll rape and kill women for this and so on. And they are very clear on their obsession with bringing about the end of the world and the Mahdi and so on. It's like, how do you point a finger at the Jews because they're the only ones willing to deal with the problem? Everyone else wants it. Let's negotiate and try to put it off for a few years until the next administration comes in and so on. Jews are like, yeah, how about we go ahead and deal with the problem and at least make sure they can't nuke us.
How about no?
Oh, shame on them. How dare you?
How about no? There's one account here saying this is wrong. Israel suppresses Christians.
Yeah, I was horribly oppressed while I was there.
Let's put aside anecdotal evidence, right? Let's put that aside, since nobody wants to buy it anyway. But there is a list of countries that are where Christians are vastly oppressed. And I also brought this up when I had my debate with Andrew Wilson. This is by the let's see if I can find that. I had downloaded that so quickly and printed it out for him. Open Doors, persecution by countries. There is a list of countries. Oh yeah, let's just look at this one. Okay, I don't need to go to the whole extensive list, but let's just look at this one. So here was a statistic by Open Doors. This is a Christian organization. The World Watch List is Open Doors' annual ranking of the 50 countries where Christians face the most extreme persecution. We can go through this list of countries where Christians are persecuted, and the persecution is ranked by high levels of persecution, very high levels of persecution, extreme levels of persecution. We can look at this map here and can look at all the countries that are listed. These are the top 50 countries where Christians are persecuted. You can see here that the entire Middle East is included in the list of countries where Christians are persecuted.
Yep, the entire Middle East, every last spot, everyone.
Yeah, except for very few countries here. One, two,
really?
three.
Oh, there's exceptions?
Now, here is one country that is suspiciously not on the list. Which country could that be? Let's get closer. Can I even get closer on this one?
Is it Pakistan? Is it Pakistan?
There's one country that is suspiciously sticking out as not being on the list here. What is that?
Is it North Korea?
What country is that? What could it be? In the middle of the Middle East, there is a country that is accused of being oppressor of Christians, but it's not even included in the top 50 countries that oppress. There are Christian countries that are included in countries that oppress Christians, man. There are Christian countries that are included in nations that oppress Christians. And Israel is not on the list. So please stop. Please stop with this ridiculous nonsense. Whatever you hear from dumb online memes funded by certain interests, stop with this nonsense, okay? The real facts are that in Israel, people are treated well and fairly, and especially Christians. In fact, you know what it says about Christians? Let me see.
You talking about that poll? You talking about that poll?
That too, but something else. But go ahead, continue. David, what do you say?
Oh, I wanted to point out. So you'll have these guys, but think about what Israel's doing to Christians. They're destroying Christians. So as AP pointed out, Israel is the one country in the Middle East where Christianity is growing. You have polls about how, about the satisfaction of various groups in Israel. Christian satisfaction in Israel, Christian happiness in Israel is very high. So you have that. There's that. In other words, Christians themselves. I interviewed a Christian evangelist while I was there who's been doing evangelism in Israel for 20 years. He said things have only gotten physical one time, and it was with a radical group. So if you've ever whoever said that, who was whining about Israel, I'm sure is thinking of the videos where you have this one group that'll like spit in the direction of Christians and so on. It was that group that actually got physical with them. He said, but he said the people in general do not like those guys. Like the general population does not like these guys. But anyway, so things only got physical once in 20 years of evangelism. And he said that the general response he gets when he preaches the gospel to a Jew is they're interested. They actually want to hear him out. It's not everyone converting and stuff, but they're actually interested. Oh, really? You believe in Jesus? Why is that? And they'll sit there and listen to him and so on. So that's what you actually hear from people while you're there or from actual studies. AP pulls up Open Doors, which is an organization that compiles data about the persecution of Christians from around the world. Israel isn't anywhere on the list. It's not in the top 50. So no matter how you look at this, should that be your first go-to place to complain about as far as Christians? No, it should be one of the last places you complain about. And it's the first place you go. Why? Because you're just a bunch of evil scumbags who are like obsessed with hating Jews. That's it. That's the solution. Mystery solved. Why you're constantly fixated on Jews and Israel. You just don't like Jews. Bottom line. Because all the stuff you point out, we take a closer look and it's not there, which means you're making stuff up and you're delusional.
This is what happens when you don't listen to facts, but instead listen to random, ridiculous, and dumb stuff that people say online. That's it. That's what happens. That is what happens. Literally what happens. In fact, Open Doors on their World Watch list has a whole thing of a point system where they have to give each country so many points in order to rank them among countries that can be at all considered countries where Christians are facing high levels of persecution. Israel doesn't make the list. And this organization records all kinds of oppression of Christians anywhere. So stop with your nonsense.
So you're saying the Jews hate Christians and want to destroy them? Exactly.